Ayodele urges Tinubu to end hardship, says Nigerians may start stoning him soon. IPOB leader's brother blames Uzodinma and others for blocking Nnamdi Kanu's release, and Nan's President Benin Republic calls for arrest of reporter over certificate racketeering. On the foreign scene, North Korea fires artillery shells towards South's border island. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The World News at 12 begins with the operatives of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on Thursday storming the headquarters of Dangote Industries Limited in Ikoyi, Lagos, in furtherance of the ongoing investigation into the alleged abuse of the foreign exchange allocations by the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele. The Anti-Graft Commission is probing the alleged preferential allocations of forex to the Dangote Group owned by billionaire Aliko Dangote and 51 other companies under the Emefiele-led CBN. Two senior officials of the EFCC confirmed the presence of the anti-graft operatives at Dangote Industries, but declined to speak on the reason for their presence. Now, sources said the Anti-Graft Commission had earlier written to the 52 companies directing them to provide documents supporting the allocation and utilization of foreign exchange sold to them at official rate in the past 10 years. The EFCC had asked the firms to submit Form A and Form M, which detailed the forex allocations to them between 2014 and June 2023. But while some companies complied with the directive, several others reportedly asked for time to get the proper document. Until June 2023, Nigeria operated multiple exchange rates, which economists said contributed to the distortions in forex allocation, market volatility, and the fluctuations. The policy was blamed for the inflationary pressures on the naira and the thriving black market activities, which reportedly had undermined the effectiveness of the CBN monetary policies. Now, during the raids, operatives ransacked offices and carted away several financial documents related to forex allocations to the group from 2014 to June 2023, when Emefiele was suspended from office by President Bola Tinubu. The surprise operation at the Dangote headquarters, which was carried out by EFCC detectives during working hours, shocked the staff and jolted visitors to the building. You will recall that the special investigator and the CBN and related entities, Jim Obazi, had uncovered how Emefiele allegedly lodged public funds in foreign currencies in no fewer than 593 bank accounts in the United States, the United Kingdom, and China without the approval of the Apex Bank's Board of Directors and the CBN Investment Committee. Meanwhile, the leader of Inri Evangelical Spiritual Church, Primate Elijah Ayodele, has urged President Bola Tinubu to solve the economic hardship in the country, stressing that he should not wait until Nigerians start stoning him. He warned President Tinubu to treat the economic situation of the country as a top priority because it keeps getting worse by the day. In a statement by his spokesman Oluwatosin Osho, the clergyman said there will be massive protests if the president does not solve the problems. He said people are hungry and salary earners can no longer sustain themselves with their earnings. He urged the president not to wait until people start stoning him and every politician before realizing that he needs to get to work. You will recall that during the release of his 2024 prophecies, Primate Ayodele recommended 5 areas for President Tinubu to focus on. He said the government of Nigeria must work on stable light, improve security and buy more weapons, develop infrastructural facilities, agriculture for plenty food, and create employment. In a recent development, the family of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has allegedly identified those preventing the release of the Biafra agitator. Kanunta, the younger brother of the IPOB leader, said Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State and some of his friends in the southeast are blocking Kanu's release. Now, in a post on X, Kanunta wondered why President Bola Tinubu allowed Uzodinma to block Kanu's release. You will recall that Kanu has been locked up by the Department of State Services DSS, and the others of the Nigerian government since 2021, following his arrest in Kenya and extraordinary rendition to Nigeria. Following his return to the country, the appeal court had discharged and acquitted the IPOB leader of all charges leveled against him by the Nigerian government. However, the Supreme Court overturned the judgment while urging the federal government to revisit the trial. In another development, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Benin Republic, Ugochukwu Favor, has urged authorities to apprehend the journalist Umar-Farouk, who conducted an undercover investigation to reveal corruption within the certification process in the country. In a television interview on Thursday, Favor criticized the reporter for having his passport stamped and acquiring certificates without a personal presence. He asserted that the journalist's undercover activities implicated the government and cast doubt on the credibility of institutions such as the Immigration and National Youth Service Corps. When asked by the interviewer if the reporter's efforts exposed loopholes that should be addressed, the NAN's president replied in the affirmative, but urged the government to look into it and take the necessary steps as fast as possible. Now, you will recall that the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Musa Adamu Aliyu, had invited the reporter who exposed the alleged degree certificate fraud in some neighboring countries to a meeting at the agency's headquarters. The reporter's investigation into a Cotonou institution revealed a concerning situation where degrees are allegedly awarded in as little as 6 weeks, bypassing standard academic procedures like application, registration, coursework and examinations. In a statement signed by the ICPC Director of Press, Azuka Ogugwa, the anti-graft agency said that the reporter's invitation was to discuss the story published on December 30 on the alleged corrupt practices at the Cotonou University. Elsewhere, the Plateau State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of some suspect in connection with the killings in Barkin Ladi and the Bakas local government areas of the state on Christmas Eve, December 24, 2023. The Police Public Relations Officer PPRO DSP Alfred Alabo made this known to journalists in Jos, the state capital, yesterday. You will recall that the attack on the two local councils left over 200 persons dead, thousands displaced, and several houses burned. However, the police spokesperson did not give the details of the arrest, saying he would issue a formal statement concerning the arrest today. We will be calling on Mr. Cyril Abako, a political, social and national affairs commentator, to join us for the analysis on the world news at 12 today. We are trying to get through to him, and we'll do that in a minute. while we'll try to get through to Mr. Cyril Abaku, we will proceed with the world news at 12. On the foreign scene, North Korea has fired more than 200 rounds of artillery shells off its west coast towards the South Yeonpyeong Island, according to Seoul's military. Now, South Korea ordered civilians to seek shelter on the island before holding live fire drills of its own. The South has condemned the move, calling it a provocative act. In 2010, North Korean artillery fired scores of times on Yeonpyeong Island, killing 4 people. The artillery shells fired today did not enter South Korean territory, but they landed in the buffer zone between the two countries. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said the incident caused no damage to people or the military, but it added that the act threatens the peace on the Korean peninsula and raises tensions. The shelling follows warnings from Pyongyang that it was building up its military arsenal in preparation for war that could break out at any time on the peninsula. The latest incident comes months after North Korea fully suspended a military deal with the South that had been aimed at improving relations. Mr. Cyril Abaku on the line. Good afternoon, Mr. Abaku.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining me. We've been trying to reach you for a while, but we seem to have some network issues. I'd like you to quickly make some analysis on some of the issues we have on the World News at 12 today, beginning with the EFCC raiding, or should we say combing Dangote's headquarters in Ikoyi for documents and probing 51 other firms over what they call the Forex scandal involving former CBN Governor Emefiele. Now, this is reportedly to help in investigation into Emefiele's case and into how he reportedly or allegedly sabotaged the economy. Right now, a member of the House of Reps is saying that the EFCC raid could hurt the economy and scare investors. That is, if the CBN is porous and Nigerian billionaire who is now building a refinery in Nigeria, if it could also be porous, if it could be involved in forex scandals, that it would hurt Nigeria's economy. What do you make of all this? Dangote and 51 others, are they really involved, or was this all Emefiele?
Oh, well, thank you, Chama, first of all, for having me on your news. I think that the primary issue here is that in any society, whether rich or poor, young or old, anybody who is found to have committed infractions or broken the law must be brought under the hammer of the law. That's basic. So that is not really the issue here. And anybody who has been found to have run foul of extant provisions of our laws, the constitutions, the financial act, etc. If you break the law, you face it. But the key issue for me here is rather a matter of strategy. What we've seen in the past, for example, is a case where the EFCC goes to arrest somebody, lock the person up, then they need to shop for evidence. You won't get it. It's like something that is counterproductive. They are telling the person and the person's allies to run away or destroy evidence. Now, why go and, I'm just thinking out loud, why go and raid Dangote's offices? Of course, given who he is, there are reputational risks that come with such an action. So the question is, couldn't they have invited him in for questioning? We've seen a similar case play out with the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. She said she's sick, but at least they wanted her to come in and answer some questions. They could have called his lawyers, they could have called his directors, whoever it was, to come in for questioning. And then the reality for me again is this, all right? A lot of the things that you will hear tomorrow are things that have been in the public space for a long time. People have said these things. Oh, forex arbitrage, etc. So is it maybe has been out of office since June last year? Is it now that the EFCC is getting to know and is thinking into action. So if the purpose is really to fight crime, I think that this sort of thing perhaps would have come earlier, and then the strategy could have been a lot more different. We don't want a case where, yes, exactly, you don't want a case where you take 2 steps forward and suddenly you take 5 steps backward. It doesn't quite help. I would have thought that given he set us as, Africa's richest man, maybe until some days ago. Yeah, if you found credible evidence, why don't you then invite them over and perhaps indict? This rate now, what to follow, nobody knows. I have to warn, because even if a man like that was truly culpable, you have to be careful how you tread on certain grounds, because the fact is, yes, because the fact is that men like this are not who they are for nothing. So except you have strong evidence, like they said, like the Americans say, you have a smoking gun, you don't bring a case against them, you will never win it. So the going to raid his office appeared to me more like a desire to grab the headlines than to deal with the substantive issue if there was one.
Are we also going to expect them to raid the offices of the 51 other companies they say they are also probing?
Well, first of all, Chairman, when they say they are probing, what exactly are they doing? I would like to know. When you say you are investigating, what exactly are they investigating? Why haven't we adopted the route of undertaking background investigation? You could even call them for questioning, in the night. And if they were not saying anything tangible, you indict. Chairman, there's something called arrest. There's something called detain. There's something called indict. There's something called charge, prosecute, and convict and sentence. In Nigeria, we don't ever indict. It's the same process of you are guilty, I'm not guilty. I read the office. Then in fact, the whole matter just gets bungled. How about look at Hot Topic, for example, Hot Topic that was arrested in Dubai. They indicted him. He's in jail today. No long story about it. But in Nigeria, we don't want to learn. We'll do the same thing the same way over and over again and get the same useless results and fruitless results. I bet to use that word. Why don't you, if you have a watertight case against the person, you arrest and indict. And if the person sees and says, okay, the evidence against me is already very strong, what do we do? It's better than, the 51 companies. When are you going to finish that, sincerely speaking?
If they are to probe all of these companies one after the other.
When will they finish that? Why haven't they gone after them? Let me give an example. In the Metale's case, initially they said that he had a firearm. Then later on, they dropped down and then they brought an investigator. They just arrested the man and locked him up, and they started looking for what to charge him with. You don't do that now. You don't do that. From the moment you arrest him and you're looking for evidence, let me ask, his allies who committed those crimes, what do you think they will do?
Like in the MFLA case, we've heard that the reason why they're doing this is so that he doesn't run away or he doesn't have time to hide evidence.
And so, please, I'm just thinking out loud. Somebody commits a crime at that level, he couldn't have been the only one who was involved. He would have had accomplices. Are they not the ones who hold the evidence? Are they not the ones who testify? Where are they now? So that is the issue. In the end, you push. If you listen carefully to what people are even saying today, Chama, the president appointed to be special investigator, in the end, may not have the powers he is claiming to have now. Because he's supposed to go to court. The CBN is an institution that enjoys autonomy under the law, under the Act. There was the office of the Accountant General, office of Auditor General, and National Assembly that have the right by law to investigate CBN. You bypass all of them and appointed a single individual.
So even in the process of the appointment, it is an issue. It just didn't go well. That's not the person who's supposed to be doing the investigation.
In the end, if we go to court to interrogate the part of the president to appoint an investigator to investigate CBN, it may come to nothing. That's what I'm saying. Why don't we like to do the thing to do things the right way? Even if it was same thing they did with James Tibori, 300 count charge, 30 count charge. You can't prosecute anybody that way. In the end, it may be one or two, but it's watertight. When the person sees the case, he's in trouble. He will beg you, plead. You can convict him. But this one, for me, it's the procedure really. It's the procedure.
All right.
Well, now we don't know.
Okay.
Is it that they are, okay?
Yeah, I actually want us to quickly talk about the Nnamdi Kanu case, right? Apparently, his younger brother has come out to accuse Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State and the people he called his Southeast friends of blocking Nnamdi Kanu's release. And he posted on X, on Twitter, and he tags the president saying, the president of Nigeria, he was asking, is the government benefiting from insecurity in the Southeast through the security chiefs? Why is Nnamdi Kanu still in detention? He's asking, he keeps saying, he's alleging that Imo State Governor Uzodinma and his Southeast friends are responsible for still keeping Nnamdi Kanu behind bars. But we know that he was discharged by a court of appeal, but the Supreme Court overturned the judgment while ordering the Federal High Court to revisit the trial. So really, these allegations, are they not too weighty, and should we expect a response to this?
Well, the presidency can respond because somebody has called them out publicly. They can't keep quiet about it. But I can assure you that today they are in a good place, as it were. Good, how? Because they can, is it hide behind? They have something to hold on to say they cannot disobey the order of the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? So that's what they're going to say. But if you look at the trajectory of the Nnamdi Kanu case, clearly the government has given the short end of the stick. I wonder why, right from Buhari up until now, the government didn't even believe in its own course and law to, in dealing with the man, right from the way he was brought back from Kenya to Nigeria. That is. And then number two, if Southeast leader, because of course when you allege, you must prove, you must supply evidence to the effect that what you're saying is true. But if the younger brother of Nnamdi Kanu is now alleging, accusing Governor Uzodinma and other leaders in the Southeast,
you have less than
very grievous allegation. And because I know some days ago, the Deputy Speaker of House of Reps, Ben Carlo, did say a radio station in Umaya, I think, he said that there were underground moves to free Nnamdi Kanu. Even if to my own ear it sounded a bit of a long.
That's the Deputy Senate President Benjamin Kalu.
Deputy Speaker of
Speaker of the House of Reps, rather.
Yes, he said that there are underground moves to free Nnamdi Kanu.
That is to say, negating what the Supreme Court has said.
Yeah, because of course, I mean, if the Supreme Court has spoken, how can you be talking about political solution right now? The government has really freed him when appeal court ruled. The government has kept him behind bars and filed an appeal. And the ones are now freeing him after Supreme Court has given. What I will say is that the Southeast leadership does not appear to have a commonized or common approach. I mean, because of course.
Hello, Mr. Abaku, are you there? Are you with us, Mr. Abaku? All right, we'll try to reach Mr. Abaku one more time. Unfortunately, we're unable to reach Mr. Cyril Abaku, but then the conversation will continue after the world news at 12. But just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the EFCC has combed the Dangote headquarters for documents probing 51 firms over a forex scandal. And Permit Erdele urges Tinubu to end hardship, says Nigerians may start stoning him soon. IPOB leader's brother blames Uzodinma and others for blocking Nnamdi Kanu's release. And non-president in Benin Republic calls for arrest of reporter over certificate racketeering. On the foreign scene, North Korea fires artillery shells towards South Border Island. And that is a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. Please follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM. For coverage of your live events and brand news mentioned in our news bulletins, do send a mail to news@voiceofthepeople.ng. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Up next is Matters, where the conversation continues.